Now, Autumn. Autumn, yes, Autumn was just, man, I don't even know where to start, because the first time we met with Autumn, we met at a deli, organic deli here called North Star. So, you know, we started talking about her goals and what she wanted to do and how she decided to do a show, or decided she wanted to do a show. But the thing that stood out the most for me about that conversation is that Autumn said that this year for her birthday, she was going to give herself the gift of health and an amazing, amazing, amazing physique. So I think she pretty much accomplished that. We'll get into some things, I mean, with Autumn that were just incredible. One of the things with Autumn that I have to, you know, say is that she just kind of gave me, you know, the steering wheel. You know, if I would recommend a certain product, a certain supplement, she would take it, the dose, everything. I'm talking whole food supplements. And so it was just like, it was great. The training, the diet, just followed it to a T. And we took someone who looked like a gymnast, just very kind of like stocky, down to look like more of a petite bikini, which is what she's competing in. Have that bikini look. So that was, it's just incredible on two ends of the spectrum here, you know, just adding the size and definition, whereas with Autumn, it was about getting her small, almost in a way kind of losing some muscle mass, totally changing her genetic tendencies, and on top of everything, not getting too lean. So this is real tricky with her, because she has a type of muscle development, muscle tone, where she could start looking really lean. I mean, she could go really either way. She can train in a certain way and go toward figure, but from the very beginning, she said, I don't want to look like a figure competitor. I want to look very feminine. I want to look more mainstream. So that's what we did. And again, not to brag, but I just can't believe how well it worked. You know, you always think like, I know what to do with this person, but there's a little part of you that you just say, you're always giving yourself that out, that I might fail. You know, I'm going to give it my best shot, but I might fail. And with Autumn, it was just like, I was impressed by my work. That it just totally changed the way she looked. And just, wow. I mean, what a difference. But yeah, so Autumn. Okay, number one, let's go through why you decided to do this. Some changes, habits you had to change, you had to implement, and just in general, I want you to focus on one thing that I think probably more than anyone else that I've ever trained or did diet for, health, how it affected your health. So let's cover those three things.
Okay, so I decided to get into this for a few different reasons. I am a very goal-oriented person, and I'm always trying to come up with things to keep me motivated, because I can be kind of lazy if I don't set goals for myself. So I've just learned through the years that that's what I do, and I had set a lot of professional goals for myself. So I decided to focus on a more personal goal. And as you said, every year I give myself a gift for my birthday. And this year I decided it was going to be the gift of my body and my health. So that is part of the motivation. The other one was needing a new personal goal, and I had been working out 4 or 5 days a week and just not getting the results I wanted. And a lot of people had always said, you should consider competing, you have the body type for it, you would be great at this. But I always thought, I don't want to do the diet. That diet is not for me. I think it's crazy.
and you probably saw other people that were getting ready for a show.
Yes.
And were moody. I remember you saying that's one thing. Absolutely, you did not want to be moody.
Yeah, well, I like to cook. I like to eat. Like, I enjoy, you know, going out to new restaurants. I'll try anything. Like, that is something I've always enjoyed. And I, you know, more recently got into cooking. So, you know, when you do that, you tend to eat more when you like to cook.
Yeah.
So it was something for me that was harder to adjust to at first, like the more strict diet. But once I did adjust, I got into a good routine, and it made it a lot easier. Since I do like to cook, it made it easier to prepare my meals. I just have to be really organized.
Well, I find that a lot of people I work with their diet, one of the things that they're really scared of at first is eating the same thing for 2-3 weeks. But then after they're doing that for a while, I usually hear this: it's so awesome not to have to think about what I'm going to eat anymore, not have to even decide. You just know what you're going to eat, and you eat it. There's no like, what am I making for dinner tonight? You know, that kind of thing. So. Yeah,
it's definitely easier. It's easier to shop too, because before I would go to the store and I would buy a bunch of stuff I didn't need, and then I'd feel wasteful if I had to throw it away, if produce goes bad too quickly or something like that. Now I just buy exactly what I need for that week and cook it all in advance, and then it's ready. And that also helped keep me from cheating as well. Like you said, I would buy, if I need 6 asparagus a day and there's 7 days in a week, I'm buying 42 spears. That's all I'm buying, and that's it. And then I wouldn't cheat at all. Or if I need so much fish of a certain type, I just buy how many ounces I need for the week and then cook it all, and that would keep me organized. So I cook it all in advance, and then it really worked out well for me.
Wow, that's good. It's amazing how both Noah and Autumn just got it really quickly, you know, and that's just something. Again, I think it just goes back to the whole, well, I'm just gonna hand over the steering wheel, and that's something it's hard for some people. I give diets to some people, and right from the get-go, can I substitute this for that, or you know, everything? I don't eat this, or I don't eat that, and you know already. I feel bad that I even charge them for that diet, because they're probably not going to do it. But that's good.
There was only one time I didn't like one of my meals, and just made it work. It was like a salad, and I just put the vegetables instead. I just toughed it out. Yeah. That was a long 3 weeks.
Okay, here's one thing for both of you. What are foods that you didn't eat before that because of the diet now like you absolutely love? Serve Noah.
I never even tried an avocado, but just the way it looked, I was like, there's no way I'm even going to try that. Like guacamole, I'm like, oh. And I had avocado, I'm like, this is kind of good. So, like now I walk by the avocados in the grocery, I'm like, I kind of want one. It's not on my diet.
So. Yeah, that's awesome. How about you?
Kale.
Kale. That's
kale. I've had that in every single diet since I started at the end of April, and I haven't really grown tired of it. Like I probably won't eat it again for a little while after this, because it has been a part every single time. But I never ate kale before, and I like that. What else? Brussels sprouts. I wasn't a big Brussels sprouts person, but I really like those now. And orange roughy is my new favorite thing, and I had never had that before.
Yeah, it's
good. That is really good.
You know, those two vegetables, Brussels sprouts and kale, are so important for women. That's why I specifically put it in their diet, because they will offset ratios in estrogen ratios in the body that kind of put you in a better position so that you prevent breast cancer, but in general. You're in the estrogen that it promotes is the estrogen that doesn't cause breast cancer. That's not tumor forming. And my reasoning for it with her was, number one, endocrine stabilization. You know, I wanted to work on her endocrine system, a healthy endocrine system. And by the way, endocrine, by that I mean the hormone system in the body. By normalizing that, I knew I was going to get better results with her, but also I remember I talked about the feminine look. We needed to keep that. We needed to keep estrogen levels exactly where they should be for a healthy female, because we needed her to look feminine. We needed, not that she didn't look feminine before, but we needed her to keep that certain feminine softness while getting smaller. So that was my game plan from the very beginning, and just really getting into those types of foods that were going to back up what we were trying to do with not only the training, but also back up ultimately what her goals were. So good, good. How about talk a little bit about how, like, your sleep. You know, I know that Autumn is amazing about getting to sleep on time. Really admire her for that, because she's a planner, I think, from what I've seen, plans, and has a game plan so that she gets it done. So a little bit about that, because like Noah, I still struggle with that. It's hard for me to come home and just in a second just go to bed, or just, you know, I need time to unwind, and then I end up staying up a little later than I should. So,
well, for me, I found at first I knew that sleep was important, because if I was getting up that early to work out, then if I wasn't in bed by 10 o'clock, I wouldn't get the same out of my workout. Like, I wouldn't be able to have the energy to do my workout and be successful with it. So at first I made my bedtime 10 o'clock, so that, you know, by the time I get to bed, I'm, you know, falling asleep by 10:30 or so. But as we've gotten closer to the end, and I have not had as much energy due to the diet and everything, I have made myself go to bed at 9 o'clock, and I noticed a huge difference. Yeah. And all I've really had to do is force myself to be a little bit more organized during the day, so I'm just not wasting any time. Yeah. But I mean, for me, that means I have not turned on the television. I have not watched TV since I started the end of April. Yeah. I mean, I might turn it on to watch the news, why I'm folding laundry or something like that, but all my shows are saved on my DVR, and I'm going to have a party at my house and watch all my shows that I've been waiting 5 months to watch.
Wow. You know, that, again...
I didn't watch much TV before, but I've completely cut it out when I started this, because it's one of those things I'm like, well, I really don't have time for it. There's more important things that I'd rather be doing.
You know, and again, this attests to that whole idea that getting ready for a show, being successful at this, is not just about genetics. It's not just about being able to spend a lot of time in the gym, being able to eat just organic foods, you know, the best foods, who can diet the hardest. It's also about managing your life, like that.
And it teaches you to prioritize. You figure out really quick what's really important to you, because that's what you're going to fit into your day. If you have this many hours and you know that I'm going to bed at 9 o'clock and whatever doesn't get done, it forces you to prioritize, and you learn very quickly what is really important to you and what's really not that important to you. And I decided watching television wasn't, and doing a good job at work, and, you know, playing with my dog when I get home was more important.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, the third question was, let's see, what?
My health, how it's affected.
Health, yes.
Yeah. Well, I have definitely noticed a huge difference in the way I feel from switching to the diet, because I worked out a lot before, so I had good health. I ran and worked out, but for me, the diet, eating clean is huge. And one of the reasons I chose Dennis to be my trainer is because he does do a clean diet. There's no like protein shakes or anything like that, because one, I never felt full when I would do protein shakes. And I like the natural, like, lean proteins instead of doing that kind of thing. And I knew that I would want that to be a part of my diet. So eating that way all the time, I noticed a huge difference in my energy level and the way I felt. The thing that's hardest for me to describe, that people still don't quite understand when I try to explain it, is the mental clarity that I have when I eat healthy like that. You just feel like your body is a well-oiled machine and everything is just working perfectly. And, you know, I had always heard that, you know, simple carbohydrates slow you down and make you feel blah, and, you know, complex carbohydrates make you feel good, and eating clean and all that. But because it had always been a part of my diet, I didn't realize that that's what it was actually doing to my body. So to eat clean, and then if you did have an opportunity to cheat, and you did, you instantaneously felt the result of that. Like, you like felt slower or something like that. Like, if somebody brought something to work and you know, ate a bite of it, you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I feel gross. It's weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, the mental clarity and just like feeling really good. I always get compliments on my skin now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody always says, "Wow, your skin looks amazing. You're just glowing," and I know that's because everything I put into my body is healthy.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That you mentioned my approach. It's always been my because of my background. What I try to impart on the people I work with their diet is that the body's supposed to function on food, on real food, not on chemicals. It just never works right on chemicals. Let's take it to the extreme. You have someone in a hospital bed with an IV getting, these chemical nutrients, if you will, into their body. They're not going to last long. Everyone knows that. You don't want to be in a hospital bed getting fed through an IV because your health is going to deteriorate. They try to get people to start eating as quickly as they can because that is what the body works with. So I take it to the other level. So if that is true, then it would also be true that when I clean up someone's diet, instead of having them pour on the Splenda, that kind of thing, or do all these low-fat things that have been processed so that they're low-fat. Now, don't get me wrong, low-fat is good when it's naturally like that. Like a lean meat is a naturally low-fat food. The problem is when you start getting all these things that are low-fat and sugar-free when they should not be low-fat and sugar-free. For example, fruit jam, syrup. These things should not be sugar-free. Obviously they're sugar-free for a reason. And low-fat. Cheese should not be low-fat. I mean, like in general, it shouldn't be zero fat. That tells me that they've done something to it. I can get into the whole thing of raw milk and how whole milk is better than skim milk because of how you process it. But we'll leave that for another day. The idea is that I love about what Autumn said is that she found it in herself. The body works better when you're giving it whole food in its most natural form. They say if it doesn't have a mother or father, it didn't come out of the ground or the water for sea vegetables, don't eat it. And that's I know that sounds kind of weird, but really that's been my approach. I would rather see someone have a tablespoon of butter than go out and have a tablespoon of margarine. Why? Because of the calories? I don't care. There's something more important than that. I've seen people get lean eating a ton of fat. I have them put coconut oil in almost everything. And you can argue calories, 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 but proof is in the pudding. I mean, here are two people who've gotten lean and we've had fats in their diet almost from the get-go. We've manipulated them obviously along the way and played with them a little bit for the most part. This is why Autumn can go through a diet and look healthier instead of looking like she's about to die like a lot of these other girls look. Her skin looks better. That doesn't happen because you're unhealthy on the inside. The skin, the hair, the nails, that's a reflection of what's coming out from the inside. So this is something that I love, and I could talk for hours on this, but I'll just leave it at that. That is my philosophy with nutrition, and I'd like to see more of that. Like I see a lot, sometimes diets other people write or what these pros are doing, and it's like, wow, this isn't healthy. You can't sustain this for a long time, and that's why you see people compete for a couple of years, and then you never see them because they get worn out. Health is very important, and health was my number one concern with everyone that I helped. So that's really good. That's really good. So now we're going to do a little posing here in a second so you can kind of see what 2 days out what we look like from this contest prep. Autumn, how long has it been your process? When did we start?
5 months. We started the end of April.
Okay, end of April. And we started in March?
Yeah, about 5 or 6 months.
Okay, so this is real. People think, oh, I'm going to just do it and I'll be, and they start to get antsy if in 2 months they can't see their abs. And here's a perfect example. You know, we started early enough because here we have 2 people that work, you know, that have to make a living, that are just, for lack of a better word, the average person that's doing this needs more time. So give yourself a little time. If you ever have a goal like this, just you gotta stay in there and you'll see the results. And I think that you'll be very motivated when you see what they look like from 5 months and 6 months of work. You know, this isn't, we're not trying to sell here a diet product where, wow, look at this in 3 weeks, you know, go from a distended stomach to a chiseled 8-pack. That is not real. It's just so ignorant to me when I see those. Like, I'm just waiting for the magazines to finally say, okay, no one's buying this anymore. Everyone knows that this doesn't happen. You know, it's just, this is reality. 5 months, 6 months of hard work, strict on a diet, and total lifestyle change. That's what it takes. Don't kid yourself. If you know someone that, you know, that happens for easily, great. Okay, there are exceptions. People can diet for 2 months. They're just genetically inclined that way. Great. But for the average person, this is a perfect, if you will, example. They're perfect role models of what happens, how long it takes, and what it really takes to get to the goals. And if you haven't dieted for 5 months or you haven't dieted for 6 months, train hard and change your lifestyle and have the discipline that they're talking about, then no one should ever say, I can't do it. I'm just not made for that. Because you haven't really tried. You haven't done this. And this is what it takes. So here in a little bit, we'll be showing you what we've done. And I hope you guys follow this to the show in 3 days. And we'll take some pictures. Hopefully all of us will have some trophies. And we'll be representing, what did you call it the other day?
Team Adonai.
Team Adonai. No, I'm so proud of them. Both of them. It's just incredible to work with people that actually, you know, have a conviction about what they're doing and did a good job. So, more later.